Okay, hello and good evening. Don't mind the shit show, because that's kind of where we're at right now. Still dealing with stuff. Hold on, I need to fix my camera. Where is, drag something over here. The overhead camera is not the way it's supposed to be at the moment, so we're going to do some rotation on that. There we go. That is better. How's everyone doing this evening? Everything looks to be going well from the streaming side of things. Get off my screen. Can't see my chat. There's my chat. It is up now. Okay, hello and welcome to the show this evening. Hopefully we get things straightened out and everything goes smoothly when I try and do one more thing. I've been working with multi-streaming lately, so we're live on Twitch and TikTok, or not TikTok, Twitch and YouTube right now. I've gotten that figured out. Monday night, when I was trying to stream my D&D session, apparently I forgot to hit go live on YouTube. So, yeah, that didn't work out so well. Anyway, I'm going to have to go back and find where I saved that video and upload this week's session from our D&D campaign to YouTube. So if you go back and watch through those videos, there's one episode missing. I've been having some encoding issues. Apparently there was an update. I'm assuming because it just happened recently. There was an update to the encoder if you use an AMD graphics card, and basically it no longer wants to encode the video properly. I get all sorts of encoding errors and lag on the stream. Did not make for an enjoyable stream for people that are watching. Also did not make it for an enjoyable stream for me, because I'm sitting there getting irritated trying to figure out what is going on and why my stream isn't working. Anyway, the thing that we're doing tonight that I haven't tried to do yet, and I'll see if it crashes my stream or not. If it does, we will stop it very, very quickly. But we're going to try and stream to a third platform. So we're adding TikTok tonight. Yes, I live in the United States. So if TikTok does not stream very well, it's okay. I only get to stream on it for a couple of days, and then it gets banned. If it gets banned, who knows? Don't know. Don't care. It's just another place I post content to. I said, personally, I don't think it's going to end up getting banned. I think something's going to happen before the ban actually goes through, or shortly after the ban goes through. It won't be enforced. Something will happen. They'll be like, oh, okay, you can still use this little app to post your videos. So anyway, let's see if I crash the stream out by hitting go live in a third place. And see what happens with this. All right, it looks like I am now live in 3 different places. If you're on TikTok, as people come into TikTok, I have no idea how that's going to work, but unfortunately, my TikTok camera is an over-the-shoulder view. Everything else, and then of course my mat down here, which my camera is being wonky on TikTok. That is not what I meant to do. Close that. Let's see, this camera. Go to settings. Sorry, trying to figure all this out. This is my first time streaming on TikTok. but I think I've got the other platforms figured out. And it's just being all sorts of difficult. Apply. Okay. Now, everything that I'm doing, hopefully that didn't switch anything on OBS. Okay, it doesn't look like it did. All right, I am live everywhere. Welcome to the show. It's a little bit of a shit show, but it is what it is. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. But we're going to get into this. I'm going to continue my work on my Black Templar Combat Patrol. Right now we're painting the Neophytes. This is one that I have partially done. I need to get his counterpart caught up to him, but I was kind of running out of time last week, had a limited amount of time, or the last time I streamed, so that was a little different. Okay. So grab another stand here. Everybody on the stand. I've had to replace my paper, my wet palette, because it had been too long, and paint was just not looking nice on it, because I didn't stream on Tuesday like I normally do. So usually Tuesdays and Thursdays are my hobby nights, gaming nights. Thank you, Jessica, Nancy, Henry, Jordan, everybody that's joining on TikTok. I appreciate it. Alita, thank you for joining on the stream on TikTok. Welcome in. We're going to be painting some minis if I ever get to the point where I get some paint out of my pots and start painting. Thank you for the likes, everybody that's coming in. This is my first time and potentially my last time streaming on TikTok, because supposedly the app is getting banned this weekend. Who knows? It is what it is. As you can see, I've got a mini here. It is a Black Templar Neophyte. I've got one that's already in progress. We're going to catch this guy up to him real quick. And if you've checked out my channel, I've got a few of the Combat Patrol done. Diego Edgar, American Dude, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. Hello, Peter. Namaste. Hello, how are you doing? Wow, people pop in and out real quick on TikTok. It's hard to keep track of everybody. Sorry I don't read Cyrillic Russian, but thank you for joining and watching. Whatever your name is in Cyrillic Russian. Or maybe it's Ukrainian. I don't know. Anyway, back to what we were doing. Where is my Abaddon Black? So the first thing we have to do is start painting the power armor and weapons black. To get this mini caught up to this mini, and then after everything's black, we'll get started on the tabard. Welcome, welcome everyone that keeps hopping in. I appreciate the viewership. There's a distinct lack of paint in this pot at the moment. Making a mess. So if you're using the Citadel paints, I've got a silicone brush that I found at Hobby Lobby. Works great for getting some of the paint out of the pot. Get it on the wet palette. And using a wet palette helps your paint stay wet longer. Makes painting a little bit easier because it's easier to thin out your paint and get them flowing better. Let me rinse my brush real quick. I guess wipe off my brush because it's silicone. but still don't want a bunch of acrylic paint dried all over my brush. I said, I'm sorry, TikTok viewers. You kind of have to look at my back over my shoulder because my front-facing camera is on Twitch and YouTube. So I'm also live over there, same username. I think I figured out what's going on when people pop in and pop out for a second. They're just like scrolling past on their phone. Just whatever. Yeah, who's this guy? Oh, he's painting little plastic men. Who cares? Painting little plastic men is fun. Especially when you get done with them. Because you turn this little gray piece of plastic. Give me one moment. You turn the little gray piece of plastic into this. And these look cool. But that's what we're working on. Although the guys we're working on right now aren't in full power armor. They're just neophytes. So they will not be wearing helmets. They don't have a full suit of power armor. But yeah, make my space properly on the desk so y'all can enjoy watching me paint these guys. But we're just gonna get in here and get started. So the color we're using right now, because they're Black Templars, is Abaddon Black. We're just kind of going around the front of the power armor on his chest, kind of avoiding the tabard, because the tabard will be a lighter color, and we don't really want to cover that up too much. Because it is a lighter color, it's a little bit harder to paint over the black, but not too bad. Welcome to the stream. Come on in, say hi, or bye, or whatever. I appreciate everybody that comes in and stays for a few minutes. If you have any questions, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, feel free to ask. I will say, streaming on TikTok is a little bit different than Twitch and YouTube. The feed is actually moving because I'm haven't been streaming a long time. Like I've streamed off and on for a few years, but I haven't been super consistent. I'm trying to change that this year and be online consistently and always have something to do. And the hobby of painting miniatures works great for that because you can always buy another kit to paint. So you always have content to have on your channel. Cool Jackson, yo, what is up? Thank you for coming in. I'm going to try and keep up with the scrolling chat and everything. I said TikTok is definitely different than Twitch and YouTube. Hopefully the app will continue to be around and I'll be able to continue painting minis and sharing my army building with you guys. But we shall see what happens after this weekend. I mean, unless the Supreme Court issues a decision before then, don't know. We'll find out when things happen. But again, thank you all for coming in, saying hi. Hope you all stay and watch for a while, and we can chit chat about things. I try not to do political stuff. I prefer not to. I'm allowed to have my views. You're allowed to have your views, and we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I understand there's a lot of confusion going on right now with the change in leadership in Washington, but it is what it is, and hopefully everything with TikTok works out all right. I do enjoy the platform. It's fun to hop on and find people with similar interests and chit chat with them. And there's something for everybody on this app. So hopefully it sticks around, or they find some way to compromise on people being able to use it. But we shall see. So I'm trying to keep an eye on all the chat stuff that's scrolling by. Said not 100% used to this yet. Checking my stream stats on the other platforms, making sure everything is running smoothly. So if you see me pause and look around at stuff, that is what is going on. Because like I said, I've had some streaming issues with my video encoding not working properly, and want to make sure that those issues are resolved and not having problems tonight. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. I hope you stay and we can have a conversation. Yeah, we're just kind of going around the mini here. Getting everything blacked out that we need to black out. It is supposed to have black paint on it. At times, chat will be a little bit harder for me to see because I'll be wearing some magnification glasses. They're just reading glasses from Walmart. That's what I use. They work just fine. You don't have to have super expensive gear to paint little plastic soldiers. The brushes I use are cheap brushes from Hobby Lobby. That's just what works. I do have some more expensive brushes, but a few weeks ago I picked some of these up from Hobby Lobby based on a recommendation from another mini painter on TikTok. They just posted a random video about the type of brush that they use and where they get them, and I replicated their suggestion and have been pleasantly surprised at how well these brushes work. So I will be using these brushes for the foreseeable future. Thank you for the follow, Angel. Much appreciated. I'm trying to keep up with what's going on in the chat feed. I'm a very small streamer on other platforms, so you'll have to forgive me if I miss some things. Because I'm not used to the chat actually scrolling. It's usually just static, and one or two people will talk at a time. If there's even anybody watching on other platforms. Oh, hey, Angel. How are you? Or I guess I should say Jenny. If since I actually know this person. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. I'm glad you could make it by and see the stream. So have you started trying to paint any of your minis that you picked up? Oh, really? Yeah, this is the first time I've tried going live on TikTok. So that's been interesting. Ah, I see. Hey, Bo, how's it going? Appreciate y'all coming in and watching. Just sit there and do me a favor and tap on the screen, give me a bunch of likes, so the stream gets shared to more people. The more engagement and interaction, the more the stream gets shared. So any help is appreciated. And we'll see if this app exists in the United States after this weekend. I mean, just some cheap brushes from Hobby Lobby work great. Like, this is like a $4 paintbrush. It works really good. So if you have a Hobby Lobby close by, check them out. I think I kept the tag off one of these brushes. Yes, I did. It is a Master's Touch Fine Art Studio. They're like $4 at Home Depot. See right there, $3.99 at Hobby Lobby, not Home Depot. Hobby Lobby has paintbrushes. But yeah, that's just what I use. They work fine. This is a number 2 brush. I've got a couple of them that are smaller. There's a 2/0 and a 20/0 for finer details, eyes, little edge highlighting, and stuff like that. Well, I hope you get a chance, and if you go to Hobby Lobby, they also have the Vallejo paints, which I've heard are decent, if not, good to decent for painting minis. I know a lot of people that recommend using the Vallejo paints. I use all Citadel paints because that's what I know, that's what I'm used to. Oh wow, we're already up to 1,000 likes on the stream. Thank you so much. Definitely appreciate it. I'm trying to make sure I can see my chat from everywhere. This is a little difficult. Trying to keep track of everything. I thought just Twitch and YouTube was going to be a problem, but adding TikTok in on top of that, there's just so much going on. But it looks like I've got a good stable stream on all platforms. So we're just going to run with it. But yeah, definitely getting this figured out. but at the same time, I'm a huge nerd when it comes to like computer stuff and figuring stuff out. So like, playing video games on stream or live streaming in general, whatever I've been doing, keep myself in frame while I'm painting. I just like figuring it out. I just wish I had my keyboard closer so I could do other goofy things on stream. But it is not where I can reach it at the moment, because I'm trying to do the painting of the mini. The only thing I still need to do over here on this desk, and of course you can see, like, since you're kind of doing the over the shoulder camera, you can see I've got two lights, but they don't produce the best light for being able to see all of the mini to paint it. So I'll have to figure out something on that to get a little bit better lighting. It's just a handle. Like, you can get them from the Warhammer store. They just kind of have a little spring-loaded jaw that holds onto the base of the mini. So it's easier to paint it than trying to, sit there and hold on to the base. Just makes it easier to flip the mini around. Some people will use, they'll have like an extra paint pot and they'll put some sticky tack on the top of it and then stick the mini to the top of it, or an old pill bottle. I've seen people use all sorts of different mini holders, like homemade mini holders. But when I picked up the minis with Annie, we grabbed some extra mini holders, and then when I was going through, sorry, whacked the microphone. When I was going through my boxes, I actually found another one. So I've got two different styles of them. But yeah, we're just going to kind of slather the paint on here as we need it. Trying to keep our brush damp but not soaking, so the paint continues to flow off of it, but not thin out the paint so much that it's more of a wash than paint. Now, some things you do want to wash for, but right now is not one of those things, because we're just base coating the armor and the main color it's going to be. Thank you for all the likes. I definitely appreciate it. Hopefully it will bring more folks into the stream. And those of you on Twitch, you don't have to be shy. You can say hi too. I will talk to all platforms simultaneously, because I've found a program that lets me link the chat from everything except for TikTok. Maybe there's a way to do it. I don't know. But that's something to figure out at some point. Assuming TikTok sticks around. Which, like I was saying earlier, I think something will happen. I don't think TikTok's going anywhere. Something will happen. It'll it'll be allowed to continue some way or another. But like I said, we shall see. If they shut it down on Sunday to make people angry, I mean, they'll shut it down, but it'll probably be back within a couple weeks or a few days, even if it does get shut down. That's my assumption on it, anyway. I think too many people use it for community building or having conversations or sharing their hobbies and passions. So I think TikTok will be around for a while. Like, even if it disappears, it'll be back. And I would also assume that if they ban it and people lose their businesses, there will probably be some sort of class action lawsuit against the federal government to bring it back or something. I'm like I said, I'm sure something will happen. So, if you're watching on Twitch, you can see I've got a schedule over there in my about info, and everybody that's watching on TikTok. I also stream on Twitch. I think I don't know, there may or may not be a link in my bio to my Twitch on TikTok. Maybe yes, maybe no, don't know. But the same username works everywhere, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or Twitch or Instagram or Xbox. Of course, on Xbox, there's an X at the end of my username because somebody stole my original username on Xbox, which is annoying. And apparently they're still somewhat active because I can't ever convince Xbox to give me my original username back because the account is still in use somewhere, somehow. But it is what it is. I have the name on every other platform that you could think of, so it's my username. Alright, let's get this chainsword base coated. Most things I will paint the black color as a base coat, mainly because if I do any type of metallics over it, the black base coat just makes the metallics look better. Most of the chainsword's going to be painted red, so not a huge issue on that, but the little section I'm painting right now will be a metallic color. And all these teeth on the chainsword will be silver. Like I said, just getting those base coated with black makes the especially the metallic paints look a lot better when you get to that point. But things like the tabard, the belt, the arm, the bare sections of the arms, it's easier to cover those with lighter colors if it's still the primer gray, which is why I try and avoid those sections of the mini while I'm painting. All right. Can I get the mic closer? Yes, I can. That is an easy request. Will I whack it a lot more? Maybe. But it is what it is. But if you're having trouble hearing me, that should help. Does that sound better? Yeah. If I talk a little quieter, sometimes it sounds farther away. Bo and Jenny are watching me on TikTok right now. And Annie is watching me on Twitch. It's always nice when, people pop in and say hi on various platforms. And sorry if I get quiet sometimes. I'm trying to find little nooks and crannies that I missed when I was painting. So just trying to go over those spots and make sure they're covered. And I guess now Annie has switched over to the TikTok stream. Where is my OBS so I can see what's going on in front of my face? Okay, that makes sense. All right. Just for a moment so you can see which. Ah! Sorry if I just scream somebody's eardrums out. Drop my paintbrush. The joys of painting. Teeny tiny plastic soldiers. Kind of doing the end of the nose bifocal thing with the reading glasses so I can see close up down in front of me for the tiny details I'm painting, but can look over the top of the glasses to be able to read chat. Keep clicking around on various windows and things get stuck behind things, and then I can't see other chat windows. But it's all good, because I have a way to see everything. Trying to keep the paint on the chainsword as smooth as possible, but get all those teeth covered real good. As I spin the mini around, I see little spots where I didn't get paint. So I'm just trying to get all these base coated. I know, like when I actually paint the arms, the skin tone that I'm going to be doing, I'll have to go back and touch up the black, because I'll be doing some dry brushing, and I'm a little crazy with the dry brushing, and get paint in places where it doesn't really need to go. But you just go back in and you touch it back up and everything looks good. Yes, and I also explained alternative ones that are cheaper or free options. Like using sticky tack in a pill bottle. But they are definitely nice. The painting handles do help you spin the mini around, so you're not just trying to pinch the base and hope for the best. Trying not to get my head in front of the camera, my overhead camera. Because I can see the brim of my hat. That's what I need to do. Uno momento, por favor. There we go. If I flip my hat around, I can get my face closer. And you won't see the brim of my hat. And pull the glasses down a little bit so I can read chat. What was I painting? I was painting his pistol hand. And that's one of the things to remember, thin your paints down. If you have to do a couple of coats, it's better to have, real thin down paint and do 2 thin coats, 3 thin coats, or 4, or however many it takes to cover the mini effectively. But you won't end up with big gloopy paint lines. Makes the minis look much, much nicer. Although I have seen some of these paint handles that other people use. They have like a little bar that comes up alongside of it to use as like a brush rest. So if you're trying to get like a real fine detail, look at those, or trying to find some way to rig this one up to be able to do that, because that seems like a helpful attachment or accessory or whatever you want to call it. But I know at this stage of the model, it's kind of boring because it's like, oh, what is he really doing? All I see is like this gray and black blob on the screen. Eventually, we'll get to the point where we start painting with more than just black and adding detail, and color will pop off the model and make everything easier to see. I lost my guy. Oh, there he is. Because it's like I had a finished model over here, but and you see once you get all the color on him, you can definitely see all the little details, the little rivets along the scabbard, the chains on his hand. That comes with color. But right now we're in grayscale mode, or black and white. But shouldn't be too much longer, and we'll start working on getting the tabard painted. And sorry if the camera vibrates every once in a while. It's actually my cell phone. So I get notifications from time to time, and it makes my camera jiggle. Okay. Sling a little bit more paint on here, so we've got good base coat. Oh, I can't see the like count. Maybe if I move that over. There we go. Now I can see everything that I need to see. I'm sure you can get it to 10K. I have faith in you. $10K likes on my first stream on TikTok, and potentially my last stream on TikTok if this thing gets banned. But 2 new followers since the stream started. Pardon me while I get a drink real quick. Okay. So, quick question: can you hear the music on the TikTok stream, or no? Because I have music playing in the background. Okay. Just making it, is like super loud, or is it fine? It's louder than Twitch, but not bad. Okay. I mean, as long as you can hear me clearly over the music, that's my main concern. Although I should probably look at Twitch. Okay, it's on. Never mind. It's on repeat on the playlist, so I don't have to. I don't have to worry about the playlist switching off of Stream Beats, because Stream Beats is royalty-free music, and I won't get my audio banned on any platforms, because that's no bueno if you're a streamer. Alrighty. I'm going to do one more quick once over, checking the menu, making sure I didn't miss any black spots, even though I know I will be touching them up as I go, because I will get paint where I don't want to get paint, and that's just part of the process. But looks like I've got it covered. All right. Rinse the brush out real quick. And so we're going to start painting the tabard. I see these little things popping up above the live chat. I don't think it's actually part of my live chat. It's like, so-and-so gave somebody a gift. I don't know how that works. I don't understand TikTok Live yet, because I just recently got access to TikTok Live. Okay, now for the tabard, we're going to start off with some Xandri dust. Got that shook up a little bit, and I will get a little blob out onto the palette. Okay, so for the tabard, just kind of be careful not to get any of the paint up into the power armor on the chest piece. Just carefully make our way around it. One of the things, as you start adding color, you see where you missed a spot of the previous color that you were painting. But it's all good, because we go back and touch up everything that we've done like 87 times, because I have poor brush control. But it's all part of the process. As I get even more paint where I don't want it. Almost there. Just 2,000 left to go. Keep tapping that screen. And while painting the tabard, you kind of want to go either up or down, just kind of the direction the cloth would naturally flow in. Of course, at the bottom edges, you gotta kind of have to go side to side. But if you do get any brush strokes when painting these larger areas, particularly areas of cloth, if you keep all of your brush strokes going in the same direction, you get a little bit of a cloth fiber effect on it. Not super noticeable, but if there are any brush strokes, that's the way you want them to be. But I do hear the Twitch stream on the TV behind me. It seems to be doing well. Welcome back, Anapan. All right. Trying to make sure we got the edges of the tabard covered real well. There's a little spot down here by the end of his belt buckle. Try and get that painted up a little bit better. Make sure we've got good coverage with this color. Sometimes you need, 2 or more thin coats. Just work your way around the part of the mini that you're painting. For painting these guys, I'm actually following, or when I started painting these guys, was following a YouTube video by Duncan Rhodes, who does his own Too Thin Coats, is the name of his company. He does painting tutorials where you can buy a membership to, I believe, or subscribe to, and get all sorts of in-depth miniature painting courses. Get some dry paint in my brush. Thank you for the 10K likes. Apparently on my screen it stopped at 8.9, but if you're saying 10K, I'm assuming it's 10K. I believe my audience, because I know my audience is trustworthy people. Sorry, trying to make sure I'm getting all these details and all these little folds and everything. But I will, as I'm going through painting these guys, I'll try and remember to tell everybody what color I'm using when I'm using it and how I'm using it. But if you need a full list of all the paints, like I said, you can go find the Duncan Rhodes How to Paint Black Templars YouTube video. And he actually has a paint list on there. So you can pick up all the same paints to paint these guys the same way that I do, if you are so inclined. I just really like the way the Templars looked on his video when he was done, and decided to replicate it. And there are tons and tons and tons of miniature painting YouTube channels and resources out there. So anything that you could ever want to paint, there's a YouTube video that tells you how to paint it. But I do appreciate everybody that stops by and watches me give my explanation on how to paint it. Because even though I am following someone else's color scheme, I don't do everything identical to the way that they did. And so with the little minor changes, even to someone else's paint scheme, you make your minis your own. And on the backs of the tabards here, I'm not going to go super into detail on them. I'm just making sure they've got good coverage with the paint. Just in case anyone ever picks up one of my minis to look at it closer. I'm not trying to do any, I think it's called a Golden Demon painting competition. I think it's the big one. I'm nowhere near that level with painting minis, but I do like my minis to look nice when I get them to the tabletop. But yep, you can see, you know, in there on the back of the tabard, nicely covered. Front of the tabard, nicely covered. So we're going to rinse our brush out really well because we're about to swap brushes and do a wash. Now, washes are very thin down paints. They're almost like water. And because of that, they flow back into the end of your bristles back here. Now, mine still shows 8.9K. I don't know if that's because I've not clicked on the window or what. Nope, still showing 8.9K. I don't know why it's doing that, but if it shows 10K on your screen, then I'll assume it shows 10K on your screen. And that I've gotten 10K likes. And just a reminder, anybody on any other platform other than TikTok, Twitch and YouTube, I can see your chats if you send them in. Not that I can see anybody on any other platform, because kind of my main window up in front of me right now is TikTok. Hey, Complicated Gaming. Doing good. Just, you know, expanding my multi-streaming. Actually, was able to go live on... was actually able to go live on TikTok for the first time, and so I'm live over there, and it may be my first and last time going live on TikTok because we might be getting banned in the US. But whatever. I don't think we're actually going to get banned, but if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to cry about it. Where is my Agrax Earthshade? Okay. Yes, been doing quite all right, trying to get some more done on the Black Templars. Sorry I was MIA on Tuesday, but a local gaming store started up an escalation tournament, and so my 15-year-old Necrons actually made it onto the tabletop. So I did not win my match, but it was definitely a fun experience relearning how to play 40K. The person that I was playing against was nice, patient, and helpful in reintroducing me to the tabletop game, which was very appreciated. I guess he was also somewhat of a new player, so he's still figuring out his own army, so it was Necrons versus Tyranids. But I guess by the tournament scoring rules, even though I lost on objective points, it was a fairly close game. And so I was told that because it was a fairly close game, and because my old Necron army, minus a few things that I didn't use that night, is fully painted, I got bonus points for having a fully painted army on the table. So for that leg of the tournament, I actually won that round, even though I lost the tabletop match. Supposedly, that was my understanding. So that was kind of neat. Like I said, I haven't played the tabletop in 15 years, so it was definitely a bit of a learning curve. Also, an ability that I was relying on that I remembered from 5th edition apparently isn't a thing anymore. So that was a little frustrating. The tomb spiders, or I guess they're called canoptic spiders now, used to have an ability where once per turn you could roll a d6 and they'd spawn a scarab swarm. They don't have that rule anymore, so I was a little disappointed because you just keep regenerating scarabs as you go along. But it is what it is. I think you can only create up to the original strength of the scarab unit, and I was running I suppose it could be a little insane in 10th edition, basically being able to recreate a unit from nothing, but the spiders can't even be attached to the scarabs anymore. So like I said, it was very confusing because I'm remembering old rules that I used to play, and those rules don't have any effect anymore. But it's all good. It was a learning experience. I was a little timid with my play. I should have been more aggressive. I think I would have done better. But back in 5th edition, Necrons were very squishy if they got into melee range. So I know from playing in the past that if a melee unit got close to my Necrons, I can just pick that unit up off the board because they were going to get destroyed in one round. Always happened. It was always super frustrating. The reanimation protocols rule is a little bit different than Will Be Back was in 5th edition. Actually kept my unit of Necron warriors at full strength the whole game, which was very cool. I rolled really well on my reanimation protocol rolls. So the guy I was playing with would knock like 3 of them down, and then I'd get 3 wounds back, and 3 of them would stand back up. And just lay into him with 10 to 20 shots at a time, depending how close I was to him. So that was fun. All right. Not that one. This one. So we're going to be going to a little bit of a smaller brush. We're going to be using some Ubshati bone, or however you say that. When I got this at the Games Workshop store, they only had the airbrush color, so this is already fairly well thinned down, so I'll just paint out of the pot with it real quick because I'm not using that much of it, as now that the wash is fairly dried on the tabard, we're going to go in and do some highlights. They're already done on this one, so you can see the the extra detail that, you know, this next layer of paint adds. Yes, it is, and I want one. I think my wife wants one because she might be playing with my Necron army, because she's thought about doing, like, the green bits on Necrons also look really good in purple. So if she decides that she wants to learn how to play with my Necrons, we can get some extra minis and get those painted with her, and she can use bits from my original army and add some units to it, and the Necron force will still be used. We're just trying to do some just thin little highlights on the raised sections of the tabard, kind of where there's little folds and whatnot, just where the light would catch them. Problem with using these finer tipped brushes is they don't hold a lot of water, so your paint can dry out real quick. But just grabbing these raised edges real quick. Yeah, anywhere that you can see on the mini that there's a little bit of a raised edge is where you're gonna just do a little thin, fine swoop of paint. Try and keep this in camera frame. I'm getting better at it. Keeping the mini in frame where people can see what I'm doing. Of course, my hand decides it wants to shake, but it's not a big issue on cloth sections because it just makes it look like ripples and wrinkles in the fabric. My computer made a weird beeping noise, so I don't know what that was. Oh, I'm running out of recording space on my hard drive. Oh well. It's fine, because this is not something I necessarily need to keep the recording of. D&D sessions, on the other hand, that I do on Monday nights, I like to make sure I've got a copy of the recordings for those, in case I need to do any editing, or I guess if I had some like background gameplay that I wanted to keep for something. Got a blob of paint on the end of my brush, and it's annoying. It depends on the mini. These ones, on average, you know, of course, because I am doing a lot more detail than what's typically done on a mini that you're going to use on the tabletop. These ones have been taken around 6 to 8 hours basically per guy, because I'll do like a 3-hour stream and I'll work on them 2 at a time. So 2 to 3 streams, I'll get done with 2 models. But now that those are done, they're both caught up to the same spot. I'm going to go back and forth between these 2 guys while I paint the next couple of sections. Starting with their arms. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to, oops, sorry, whack the microphone again. While I'm thinking about it, I had a little hiccup with the first couple of these guys that I finished painting. One of the heads that I painted didn't fit on the body because there were some extra knobs on the back of his head that stuck out too far, because apparently it was a head for an initiate, not a neophyte. And so for the heads that I'm putting on these 2 guys, I kind of shaved the back of the head down where they'd fit better. I just have to, because I've already got the black paint out and I'm thinking about it, touch these guys up real quick. Repaint the backs of their heads. So I can actually glue them on when I finish the bodies. There we go, that's better. Welcome Kenneth, welcome Michael, welcome Jesse to the TikTok stream. Thanks for coming in. Welcome Gatorman. Sorry, trying to keep up with people coming in and out of the stream on 3 different platforms. It's a little hectic at times. Because we are live on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok all at the same time. All right. For the arms on these guys, so their pre-painted heads will match, I'm going to be using Gothor Brown. Which my paint is a little gloopy, so I'm gonna have to sling some down on the wet palette and thin it out. Which is understandable that this pot of paint is goopy because it's 15 years old. Because this is one of my original paint colors. I'm surprised it's lasted this long, because I had quite a few that dried out completely over the years because I hadn't used them. But I'm just gonna go in here and do a base coat of paint on his arm. Both of his arms, actually, not just doing one. Kind of out of the corner of my eye, I keep seeing TikTok chat jump up and down. It's different than what I'm used to on other platforms. So I'm like, did somebody else join? Is somebody else here? Do I need to say hi again? Just kind of carefully going around his arm here. See, this is one of the fun parts where you're actually getting in there and getting some of the detail done that will make the mini look really good on the tabletop. Trying to make sure we get good paint coverage everywhere we need it. You have to get real close on some of these guys to make sure we're getting the paint where we want it and not where we don't. Hope everybody can see everything okay. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell when you're, focusing on the thing 2 inches from the front of your face. And you're just kind of looking at the camera out of the corner of your eye to see what's actually on the screen. I put a big blob of paint where I don't want it. Some of that back off. All right, that's one arm done. To the point where we're painting right now. Start on his other arm. Sorry for whacking the microphone. I apologize to anybody who's wearing headphones. As I whack it again. I'm trying to keep this arm's a little tougher to keep in frame. And of course, sometimes I flip the paint handle. Paint handle itself gets in the way of what I'm trying to display that I'm doing. But hopefully everybody can see what's going on. There we go. That's looking much better now. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of painting skin tones. But for these guys, they don't have armor on their arms and they're not wearing helmets, so you have to paint them. All right, his arms are done. Let's grab his battle brother over here. Get a little extra water in our brush to keep the paint flowing. Grab some more paint. And we'll keep going. All right, we've been live on TikTok for about an hour and a half. So this has gone fairly well. Carmen, welcome. Welcome to the stream. If you're still here and sticking around. I don't know how accurate the viewer stats on TikTok are, but I will do my best to say hi to everyone that stops in. Of course, I'm focused on something that's about 2 inches tall and 3 inches from my face, so I'm a little distracted. But anyway, back to chatting about the escalation tournament that I've gotten myself in. Every week, your points list, or the amount of points you get for your list, increases. So the first round was at 500 points. I guess the next round is going to be 800 points. I think we're still on small stuff for those. You can't have anything over like toughness 8 or 9 or something like that, so people don't just bring 2 massive models and then stomp the floor with you because you can't defend against it, which I appreciate the organizer doing that, especially for someone who's been out of the game as long as I have and is basically a new player at this point, relearning all the rules. But with what I learned from my last session on Tuesday, which it will be Tuesday nights for a while, so unfortunately I won't be streaming Tuesday nights while this escalation tournament is going on, unless whoever I get matched with, and I'll have to discuss with the wife about making up those matches on an alternative day. Thank you for the likes. So there may be alternative days that I will meet with my opponent, whoever it may be, to play, to keep up with what's going on in the tournament. Not that it's a real actual tournament, but I learned some of the updated strengths and weaknesses of my army, so hopefully my next game, and with more points on the table, will go a little differently. And I will most assuredly be playing a little more aggressively. I can say that for a fact. But hopefully won't overextend myself. Because I'm pretty sure Necrons are still squishy, unless you keep them somewhat at range. Alright, looks like we've got the arms. Nice base coat on both of these guys. Again, thank you for the likes on TikTok. Anybody new that will follow on YouTube or Twitch as you're watching. That would be greatly appreciated. Any new followers on TikTok will be greatly appreciated if the platform sticks around for us Americans. But we shall see what happens with that. Pardon me while I sneak another drink. All right. Now back to the washes, because we want some details to stand out on the arms. We're going back with the Agrax or shade because we're going over a brown base coat. And we're just kind of gonna, slather it on there to make sure it sinks into all the little details, because you want to darken those details up. Make sure you get a little bit of it to pull in along the muscle lines, along the vein lines in the arm, so you can see those details pop out. I don't know how well you can see that, being such a tiny screen. But we go ahead and do both arms. Like I said, leaving enough in the little cracks and crevices for shading, and let it pool out just a little bit. And this is not the final step of the process. We have one more coat of paint to do after this. EK, welcome to the TikTok stream. Appreciate having you here. First two models, great. I mean, you got to start somewhere. Doc Rose, welcome to the stream on Twitch. Just to let people know where I'm talking to people and which platform they're on, because we're pretty much everywhere tonight. So what'd you get thrown together? Yes, assembly is definitely half the battle. Especially when you go to Games Workshop and pick up the Mini of the Month, and it comes in this little box with no instructions on how to put it together, and they end up putting a bunch of extra pieces in said box, and you end up with 3 heads and 6 arms and 2 legs and 1 body. You're like, huh? Particularly for a unit that you don't play. Oh, and here we have it. Our first Instaban for spamming crap in my chat. Goodbye, Spoken Kelp. You will not be missed. If you spam information on how to get bot viewers on my streams, I will ban you instantly, no questions. I don't have time for stuff like that. Uh-huh. Just annoying. People that don't have anything better to do, they want to send spam bots into your chat. Okay. Got our Earthshade done on both of these guys. And if I can get this up towards the camera where you can see it. I mean, it is a little harder to see with the darker skin tone. But you can definitely see the lines around the muscles in the arm. And we're going to go ahead and let those dry for a few minutes. Excuse me. While we wait to do the next part, I will go back to our original brown color on the arms, the Gothor brown, and we'll do some dry brushing with that, just to kind of catch the tops of the veins, highlights, a little bit on the muscles. Once I get that done, the arms will really pop out on the model. Let me go grab another one. Because on this guy's arm, you can easily see all the detail and shadow down along the edges of the muscles. That's what the washes do. Then going back over it with a dry brush. But this is one of my two finished neophytes. These are the last two from the combat patrol that I'm working on right now. Let's check these guys, see how dry the paint is on them. Because when you kind of let the washes pool in a little heavier to definitely get those details, those deeper details, they do take a couple extra minutes to dry properly to be able to do the next coat. Welcome Celio Jordan and Michael Clairvoyant, if you managed to stick around in chat for a while on TikTok. Like I said, I keep bouncing back and forth between different platforms, just as people say hi and introduce themselves or ask me a question. I say, I let everybody know, because I am on multiple platforms, where those messages are coming from. Just so people are like, who is he talking to? I don't see that message in chat. But definitely trying to get everyone included as I bounce back and forth between platforms or messages on platforms. All right. Just showing off all my different little secrets on how I paint my minis tonight. Not that they're secrets, you can find out how to do all this stuff watching other streamers, watching YouTube videos. But we're just gonna grab some more of this Gothor brown. Just need a little bit, just tiny amount on the tip of the brush, and you're gonna kind of wipe it onto your paper towel, getting most of the paint off of it, but not all. Because this is a bigger dry brush, sometimes it takes a little bit more paint to get the desired effect. Okay, we're getting a little bit of paint transfer onto the back of my hand, but we're just gonna flip back and forth over that arm. And the paint that stays on the model is just going to stay on like the most raised up areas. And so you can see all the detail pop out on the arm, where the other one is just kind of muddy looking. I'll try and get pictures up on Instagram and X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it. After the stream, I usually take progress pictures of what I've gotten done for the night and post it on other platforms. I also make a TikTok video that shows what I got done. So if you come back by the channel, you'll be able to see that. Not necessarily live. Good evening, Brittany. Welcome to the stream. Grab a little bit more paint here. Alrighty. Now I know it's harder to see from your viewpoint on various platforms, which is why I tend to do better pictures later on. But definitely got a lot of good detail going on the arms. Now we're going to go ahead and switch gears again. We're going to rinse out our brush and start working on some more of the smaller details around the mini. Like I said, for everybody joining on various platforms, I am currently live everywhere. TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube is what I consider everywhere for my streaming purposes. You can find me at the same username on all platforms. If you're on Twitch, my about page has links to all of my various social media accounts, including X and Instagram. I do post little short video clips and pictures and everything on those other platforms as well. So if you're looking for, a more detailed, better picture of the minis as they get done, you can find them on those other platforms. But I do appreciate everybody who's coming by and stopping in tonight. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to our belts and pouches. And we're going to start with Mornfang Brown to do our belts. And I've been having very good luck with my number 2 brush. So I'm gonna add some paint onto the wet palette. I use a homemade wet palette, which is basically paper towels with some parchment paper over them in a Tupperware container with some water in the bottom of it. And it works very, very well for a wet palette. So you don't have to run out to some hobby store and spend excessive amounts of money. You just use something like this to get a wet palette. Since I'd been out of the hobby for quite some time, I didn't know anything about wet palettes, and they're definitely an asset to painting minis. They keep your paints wet a lot longer, so you have more time to work with them. I tried using like standard plastic palettes, and your paint just dries on them so fast you don't get a whole lot done before your paint dries out. Don't always have as much room on my desk as I would like, but we're just going to start making our way around the belts on these guys. Again, trying not to get excess paint where we don't want it. But now we're getting into all the little fun bits on the Mini. The teeny tiny little details that really make your Mini stand out. That's the best part of painting Minis, is getting all these done. At least for me, anyway. Because that's where they really start, coming to life. Once you start getting all the little details painted, and all the little pieces of gear start taking shape. The belts, the guns, the crest on the chest plate of the armor. That's where you get that's where it's fun. That's what I like about it. Veronica, welcome in. Hope you enjoy your time here. I said I keep track of the chat on all of the platforms that I'm currently streaming to. What is my favorite unit of all of Warhammer? This is coming from Complicated Gaming on Twitch. I don't really know. I mean, my experience with the tabletop game is, of course, very limited. I have a couple of characters, from the lore that I like. Obviously, most of them are Black Templar related, like Chaplain Grimaldus. Veronica, I'm currently working on a Black Templar neophyte. When all said and done, he will look similar to this guy, but right now we still have a ways to go. Saint Celestine is real cool. And some of the minis that I just like the Brutalis Dreadnought, I think is the coolest looking Dreadnought out there. I have one waiting to be assembled and painted behind me at some point when I get finished painting this combat patrol. I also have Chaplain Grimaldus on the shelf behind me, waiting to be assembled and painted. Eventually, I will get a High Marshal Helbrecht, because that is another really cool model. Emperor's Champion is on the shelf behind me, waiting to be painted. That is one of the coolest models that I think I've ever seen, and can't wait to get him done. But in the lore of 40k, of course, again, the first High Marshal of the Black Templars, Sigismund, is basically just badass. So I like Sigismund. Rogel Dorn, the Primarch for the Imperial Fists and Black Templars, is kind of got his panties in a twist when it comes to the belief that the Emperor of Mankind is a god, but it is what it is. But that's just how the lore worked out. He was a Primarch. He knew that the Emperor decreed religion unimportant, which, of course, the Emperor ended up, being a little wrong on that front, according to the people of the Imperium who follow him religiously. But it's just a neat world, neat intellectual property fantasy, or not fantasy, universe is what I was trying to say. Of course, so much stuff going on. Another one of my favorite characters is Trazyn the Infinite, the Necron Klepto. His character is just hilarious to me. He runs around all over the universe and tells people, "Oh, you can't use that relic properly. I'm just going to take it for safekeeping." Like, really, dude? But there's just lots of fun stuff like that. Model wise, like I said, the Brutalis Dreadnought, the Emperor's Champion, Grimaldus, Helbrecht are all really cool models. The Lion L. Johnson is a cool mini. Of course, I don't play and have no intention of playing Dark Angels, but I can still say their minis are cool. Of Space Marine units, I don't like the look of them. But Terminators, I do not like Space Marine Terminators. I don't like mostly their helmets. I don't like the way the helmets look. So if I ever have to run a squad of Terminators, they probably won't be wearing helmets, which is just, giving myself grief to paint them. But I guess I'm weird like that. I like their armor. I like some of their weapons, like the Power Claws and Lightning Claws and stuff like that. But just not a fan of the model overall. Void Dragon Mini is definitely a cool one. Saint Celestine is a cool mini. The Sisters of Battle Exorcist tank, that is 100% one of my favorite models out there. Rocket launcher pipe organ tank, yes. That is a cool mini. I like it. But I mean, at the same time, the pilot helmet for that tank, I'd have to look at it. I don't have one. I'd have to pull up a picture of it. And trying to convince the wife to start playing. I did get her an emulator tank for Sisters, which massive stained glass window on the front of a tank, still cool. With big ass torches along the sides of it. Although, you know, the wife is not a fan of the cherubs because they are creepy flying baby things, which is understandable. So I think when we eventually put that mini together, it won't have cherubs hanging off of it. But still a very neat mini. But we had to find a good time for her to learn the proper assembly of Warhammer minis. Like, I do most of my assembly off screen, because nobody wants to sit there and watch me, you know, clip pieces off the sprue, and then, you know, sit there and shave mold lines off of it for a couple of hours while I'm trying to get, you know, all the pieces I need cut out for the units that I'm building. I just, you know, my personal opinion is that people wouldn't necessarily enjoy watching that aspect of the process as much. Yeah, because I've started on the intercessors for the combat patrol. So it's like I've got all these, you know, little arms that I've clipped off and shaved down the mold lines. It takes forever. And one of the bodies, but it is, you know, been freezing and we've been buried in snow for the last couple of weeks, so I can't get anything primed right now, which sucks. Because, like, all of my neophyte shoulder pads haven't been primed yet, so I can't even start painting them. So I'll be really close to having 4 more minis done, but won't have the shoulder pads done. Just double checking that I got in all the little spots on the belts that I want to get. With the brown. And you can see like little spots here and there where I went over my lines, where we will go back and touch up before we start doing our edge highlighting. I think that's got the belts done. Trying to keep an eye on the time as well. All right. Now, I have mentioned a few times that I'll switch brushes back and forth quite a bit. For larger things, some smaller details, I'll use this, you know, number 2 brush. That's kind of my general painting brush that I've found that I enjoy using. But when you're doing washes, the paint, the wash gets up into the end of the bristles here, which can ruin the brush. So use separate brushes for washes. And the same thing for metallics. If you're painting metallics, the same type of thing happens, except you get little chunks of the metallic paint and the bristles, and they'll put little cuts in the bristles, and then the brush tip starts fraying. So for different types of paint, you want to keep your brushes separate. For it, if you want to keep a nice point on it, don't use metallics, don't use washes, keep that brush separate. Have a separate brush for your washes, have a separate brush for your dry brushing. Of course, dry brushing is a completely different type of brush in itself, because you want like this big fluffy end to do your dry brushing with, where you don't need the detail on like something like this. Excuse me, nose is running a little bit. Grabbing some water. And you like this number 2 brush that I got from Hobby Lobby has a nice thick tip on it, holds a bunch of water, keeps your paint flowing off of it really nice. Highly recommend a brush like that for most of your painting. These brushes that have thinner tips on them don't hold as much water, so the paint doesn't always come off the way you like it to. So that can be a little frustrating, but we're going to move on to our next bit of detailing. We're going to be using some Balthazar Gold. It's kind of a bronzy color, and we're going to use that, here on the chest, the belt buckle and tips. So is our first metallic that we're going to be using. Yeah, because you never know what people are going to try and post in your chat, I just keep links turned off, because unfortunately there are not so good people out there that like to put inappropriate links in your chat. And I prefer, not to have, not to be banned off of various platforms because somebody did something in my chat inappropriate. But yeah, there's tons of good dry brushing videos out there. And at some point, I am gonna get some speed paints to try. Mostly because I've heard it makes getting an army tabletop ready super quick and easy. Because basically you just do a couple of different colors of dry brushing. You prime your mini, you do a couple of different colors, like a light gray and then a white layer of dry brushing, and then you just start smearing the speed paint on it, and you don't have to do any edge highlighting at the end of it. It's already the color that you want it to be. It's like, that sounds like cheating to me, but if it helps people get who are excited about learning the tabletop game, if it helps them get their army on the table quicker, I'm all about it, because I think this is a very cool hobby that needs more people in it. Yeah, I'll definitely have to look into some more chat bots as I get further along in the process of streaming regularly. I know I still have a long way to go. But we will get there eventually. But we're just going to go over this emblem on the chest. Yes, I did. How's it going, Button? I played Tuesday night. Um, I woke my Necrons up from their eternal slumber and went and got a match in at our local game store that is doing an escalation tournament. I was talking about it a little bit earlier. I did not win my match because I'm basically a new player again, and don't know how the rules for the army had changed. I was talking about it earlier. One of my favorite things that tomb spiders, which is a 5th edition term for canoptic spiders, used to do was you'd be able to use them to keep creating scarab tokens or scarab swarms. So every time one got knocked off the board, the tomb spider just makes another one without any extra steps or anything. You didn't have to have an existing unit to resupply because the tomb spider was part of the unit. Well, the tomb spider is not part of the scarab unit anymore. You can't attach it to a scarab unit anymore to do that. At least as far as I can tell. I don't know. Maybe I was playing wrong. But apparently it was a very close game within 10 points. And because I was playing with my Necrons that were fully painted, I got bonus points at the end of the round. And for the round, I actually won because of the bonus points. Or at least that's what I was told. But got my game in this week. It was fun. Have some thinking to do before next week on unit composition. I was cautious about the list that I took. I actually had 3 different lists made up, depending on like what I was facing and how problematic I wanted to be, because one of the lists that I prepared at 500 points was basically 20 warriors, 6 locust destroyers, and a locust lord. And that would not have been fun to play against. I know that just by seeing, how things went on the tabletop the other night. It was like, and of course the person I was playing is also a fairly new player, and so didn't want to do that to him. And it became very quickly evident that that's how things would have gone had I used that list. But next week, when we move up to 800 points, I believe is the point limit, I might not be so nice. And of course, I also played very passively because I know Necrons used to be super squishy. So I know I don't have to be as cautious next week. But just kind of getting back into the hobby, growing pains. But I will keep you guys updated as I play more matches. But yeah, I had fun, got my game in this week. It was, neat being on the tabletop again, which I can't wait until I get enough of these guys done to get them on the tabletop. And now that I'm talking about the Necrons again, I need to take some pictures of them and get another TikTok up and put them on Instagram, showing those guys off, since they are being played with right now. And like I said, I'm sorry I disappeared on Tuesday night, but that's where I was. And we'll probably not be streaming next Tuesday night because I'll be doing the same thing. Unless for some reason whoever my opponent is this week isn't available to play. That will cause things to change. Okay. Oh. So they're like, okay, I'm done with this color. No, you're not. I've not painted his chest yet. I'm just... Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate people coming by and watching the D&D stream. I know we're just kind of a bunch of murder hobos, but we have fun. We're kind of in a weird spot between excitement right now. I think the next couple of weeks, we're going to be getting into some sort of new keep or castle. So there will be a lot more excitement to watch over the next couple of weeks. At least that's my understanding from what the DM has told us. But we've been going on that campaign for a couple years now because we all kind of have limited time to play, and families and travel and all that kind of stuff. So some of our sessions get delayed a couple weeks, a couple months. It happens. And then of course the holiday time just throws everything off forever, and it's hard to get back into that swing. But I think we're all at the point where we're ready to get back into it and get the campaign moving again. Alrighty. So that is all the belts and our bronzy bits. So back to the wash tub again, if I remember where I put it. And we're gonna go another coat of Agrax Earthshade on what we just painted. Get my brush a little wet. Some of these brushes have real nice tips. As soon as they dry, the tip hardens back up again, but at the same time it's a little frustrating when you're just trying to get some paint on it and go. But get the Agrax Earthshade on there, get it to flow down in all those little lines everywhere. bring out some more of that detail. Especially around the belt buckle. And the edges of the belt. So your washes, your Agrax shade, your non-oil or contrast colors, whichever ones you decide to use. I know I've said it before, is 100% talent in a bottle. First game of Moonstone. Okay, not familiar with Moonstone. Is that like a RPG or board game? And unfortunately, my knowledge of other tabletop properties is a little limited. Whether it's, you know, board games or other RPGs. I did, you know, I used to know some folks back in the day who played stuff like Vampire the Masquerade, Battletech, tabletop mini skirmish game. I'll have to look into it, see what it's about. But people are coming up with new games all the time. Yeah, there's I think I mentioned it on my last stream. There's a Jim Henson's Labyrinth board game that comes with minis in it, and at some point those are getting pulled out and painted. Once I feel like my painting ability is up to snuff enough to tackle those characters. And, you know, I know I get compliments on my painting all the time. The little stuff that I post on TikTok. You're your own biggest critic. So there are still a lot of things where I tell myself, you're not good enough to do that yet. So you're just going to wait. So that's where I'm at on some things. Like getting Grimaldus out of his box to paint, getting the Emperor's Champion out of his box to assemble and paint. Both of those minis fall into that category of I don't think I'm good enough to paint them yet. And I know it's just me being in my own head, but I want them to look good. And you like I said, you're your own biggest critic, so you're always going to have that little bit of self-doubt. And, you know, I'm not saying rush yourself into it and do it, but at some point in time, you just kind of have to say, all right, I'm ready. I'm going to do this now. And at some point in time, I'll get there. But I'm not quite there yet. And I like I said, I say that and I get lots of compliments on my minis. When I went to play the other day, the local game shop is a new game shop. I think they just opened last November. And when I showed some pictures of my minis and of course the Necrons that I was playing with, the owner asked me if I'd be interested in doing any type of commission work. I'm like, I have no idea. Until I get faster at painting, probably not. I wouldn't do any types of commissions. And I know I've said before I really don't want to, because I know I'm like real particular about things. But maybe at some point I'll get to where I'm willing to do a commission for somebody, but I don't plan on making a habit out of it. But like I said, I do like the thought of painting other minis from time to time instead of just working on my own army. Although I do really want to finish my army, but like I said, the mini of the month I went and picked up from Games Workshop, and I think this guy is going to be really cool to paint, but I was more interested in gluing him together than making sure all the parts were cleaned up. So I got a bunch of mold lines all over the place. They're going to be a pain in the butt to get to now because I glued them together. But it is what it is. But as I said, doing other projects like that, different minis from different armies, gets me more practice with different painting techniques and different styles of armor, different color palettes, to where eventually I'll be like, okay, I'm ready to try something new. And so I'll be ready to paint the Emperor's Champion. I'll be ready to paint Grimaldus, particularly Helbrecht, because when I paint Helbrecht, I want to do him with his helmet off. So I've been painting a bunch of tiny heads, trying to make sure I can get the eyes to look right. And I finally think I've got it figured out how to get the eyes right. But I mean, it's all part of the process, and eventually I'll get to the point where I'm happy with what I'm doing, and happy with the results that I get while painting. All right, we got about half an hour left tonight. So, but we are going to keep going. I'm going to start working on these weapons now. And the color that we're going to paint them, we're going to start off with corn red as our base color for the sword and the pistol. Sorry, I get a little rambly at times. Trying to keep you all entertained. And believe me, I appreciate everybody that comes by and watches my stream and listens to my word vomit as I try and come up with something to talk about. While I'm painting these guys, but I just, I've tried video game streaming, and because I get so engrossed in the video game, I forget to look at chat, which I know you guys can't hear, but every time someone on Twitch sends me a message, I hear a little ding in my ear. It's like, okay, look at chat. Ding, look at chat. But painting minis just makes that process so much easier to be able to, stop and look up for a second and see what folks are saying. Definitely feels like a lot more of an interaction with the viewers instead of people coming in and watching me, yell obscenities at a video game because something stupid happened. But we all do that, right? We're just gonna get our chainsword painted up real quick. And I'm working on really tiny little details, so sorry I get quiet again. Because I'm trying not to mess it up. At the same time, I guess that's the other thing with painting minis. You just kind of get to relax, and your brain halfway shuts off, and you just get to kind of go into Zen mode and let the paint happen. That's another great thing about painting minis. It's relaxing and meditative, and of course I'm listening to more relaxing synthwave type music, but I do like my angry metal music sometimes when I'm painting. Because I can imagine that's what my Space Marine guys would be listening to. Like just like some Doom soundtrack, rip and tear, burning the witch, purging the heretics, that kind of thing. And also like any type of cover that, like, somebody does a cover of a song like I Need a Hero with a Space Marine voice, I find absolutely hilarious. I did a TikTok around Christmas time with somebody redid All I Want for Christmas Is You with a Space Marine voice. It's hilarious. Of course, I was making Christmas cookies in that video. Because not only do I paint, I can also cook. Just another one of my many hobbies. Of course, cooking is, less expensive. Most of my other hobbies are very expensive. Like cordless hole punchers and motorcycles. If I keep doing that, getting the mini off screen while I'm painting it, because I'm getting into my own head while I'm painting, say, hey dum dum, we can't see it, get it back on screen. I catch myself doing that every once in a while. Like, you're not on screen, move the mini back please. Because I know y'all aren't here just to listen to my voice. I don't have the best narrative voice. I'm not Baldermort, I'm not, Northern Exile. I don't have that wonderful accent when I'm talking constantly that everyone enjoys listening to. It's just not me. I mean, I suppose I could try and do it, but people would be really confused if they've seen my streams before. It's like, when did he get an accent? I know I jumped into another streamer's channel while I got a notification that he went live, and was super confused because the person that I was used to watching wasn't there. It was some girl. I'm like, what is going on? Am I on the right channel? Yeah, it turns out it was his daughter painting minis. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So yes, if other folks have streams and I follow you, because every time someone follows me, I always check and see if they have their own channel and what they've been streaming, and then wait for a go live notification to pop into their chat and say hi to everybody and thank them for following on their platform. Just because I think it's the right thing to do. So I like to try and repay the kindness of others. Give them a view for a little while and see if I can't get the chat to interact with them a little bit more, start up a conversation. Because usually when one person starts talking, you can usually coax a couple of more lurkers out of the shadows, which always helps with the engagement for the channel. Just trying to get, I really appreciate everybody that's come by and watched tonight, because I'm like, right there on the edge with Twitch. I need like 6 more followers and a couple more average viewers. So I appreciate everybody that's been in here for a while tonight to get affiliate status, and then maybe be able to start doing more with the channel, which would be really nice. I'm just not quite there yet, just like right on the cusp. But I'm also trying to stay live as long as possible to see if somebody pops in. Another TikTok streamer or TikTok user, whatever you want to call him, that I chat with on my lunch break at work. I think he's in Manchester, so he's finishing up his day while I'm right in the middle of my day. So I'll chit chat with him for a while on my lunch break, and just kind of lurk in the back of his live stream while I'm at work. And I was talking to him today, and I kind of want to apologize to him, because when I was talking to him today, like right before he got off and was ending his stream, I was trying to explain or work out the time zone difference between him and I, and the way he reacted was kind of like sounded like I was begging him to come watch, and it's just no, it's my neurotic need to make sure people understand exactly what I'm saying. So uh, when he mentioned GMT time zone, I went and like Googled it real quick, what the difference between or what my time zone was in GMT, and messaged back again. I think he got the impression where I was like, no, I'm begging you, come watch my stream, because I'm at GMT -6. Because I'd made the joke, I was like, hey, if you're bored at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm gonna try and go live on Twitch, or not Twitch, but live on TikTok before TikTok gets banned here in the States. Entirely meaning to just be joking around, like, if you happen to if you happen to be up in the middle of the night, I'm going to be online. I wasn't saying, no, you need to come by and watch me stream so I can talk to you. And I think that's kind of the impression he got. So I kind of want to apologize to him if he pops on. But he did say he gets up about 4 in the morning. So if I start randomly talking to someone on TikTok, that's why. But we're getting pretty close to the end. We got about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to try and get the red done on this sword and his pistol. We'll call it a night. I think we made some good progress though tonight. Hi, hun. Wife's trying to sneak up on me. Although apparently I'm not the easiest person to sneak up on, but of course the inverse is I have a really bad habit of unintentionally sneaking up on people, which leads to entertaining moments during the day sometimes, because I deliver automotive parts to shops and dealerships in the town that I work in, and there's been a few times where their parts person hasn't exactly been on their A game, paying attention, and I'll like I said, sneak up behind them and unintentionally scare the crap out of them when I say, afternoon, how's it going? And they jump out of their chair like, holy crap, don't do that. Thanks, hon. And Pan in Twitch is the wife. We're getting close to ending time, which is always sad, because in all honesty, I could like literally sit up all night and just paint minis because I enjoy it, but then I'd be worthless at work the next day, and driving a 30-foot box truck on zero sleep would be a bad idea. I think somebody might have something to say about that in the long run. Yeah, we're getting these guys knocked out bit by bit. Oh, darn it. I forgot to respond to somebody on Discord earlier. They've got a Black Templar box, and were asking if I was interested in it. But it's the one with it's got like a Redemptor Dreadnought in it, and the Emperor's Champion, Crusader Squad. It's a nice box. It has a little Black Templar specific codex in it, but you know, I'm kind of torn on it because it's like, do I want to see if I want that one? Because I've looked at it in the store a few times. It's like I want to run Brutalis Dreadnoughts, not a Redemptor. So I don't know if I'd actually use that many. I know I could resell it. I already have an Emperor's Champion mini that I haven't assembled and painted yet. So it's like, I don't need that out of the box. And when I do get to the point where I have, you know, enough points to actually field these guys, I'd rather have a second combat patrol to get the second impulsor. Now that way I have two impulsors to use as, you know, shuttle buses to get my guys around the field before I save up for Land Raider Crusader, because that's definitely on the wish list. But I think I'd get more use out of a second combat patrol, and of course the extra unit of intercessors. I don't remember if the Templar army box had intercessors in it or not. It probably did, but it is what it is. And eventually I'll get more of these guys done and get more of the army filled out. But there we are for this evening. We'll start working on our silver details next time. We'll get the blades on the chain swords done. There's all the details on the pistol that need to be silver. The tubing around his neck. There's some spots on the backpack that'll get some silver done on them. But that's what we're going to do on our next stream. So hope to see you all there next time we go live. If I get a chance to hop on and do an extra impromptu stream, I hope to see you there. Otherwise, it will probably be next Thursday, because Tuesday I will have another tabletop match going through this escalation league. We'll definitely let everybody know how that goes. But thanks for coming by. Thanks for stopping in. And as usual, our schedule is usually going to be Monday nights from 7:30 to 10 p.m. Central Time. We're streaming Dungeons and Dragons. Tuesdays and Thursdays, if I'm not playing on the tabletop somewhere on a Tuesday, 7 to 10 p.m. Right here, either painting minis, assembling minis, playing video games, just having discussions here and there about whatever pops into my head randomly. And Thursdays, 100% we're going to continue painting minis. Hope to see you all next time. Thanks for stopping by, And everybody have a good night, get some sleep, and wake up nice and refreshed in the morning. We'll see you later.